All right. It is a great day in South Florida. Welcome to Living in South Florida. My name is Chris Igoe, and it is Memorial Day. So, hope you all had a phenomenal Memorial Day weekend, and then we all observe this national holiday for all those who have given us so much to have the freedoms that we have, and we are blessed and grateful for that. But today, I'm going to get right into it. We're going to talk about the main thing that seems to be on everybody's mind right now, and full disclosure, I know I've done lots of videos, and I have said that if I see anything that resembles anything like a shift or a change or a pivot or a crash or a move in a different direction other than up, I would be the first one standing on the top of the mountain screaming, "The market's changing!" And I know I've done videos here recently talking about the shift that's happening, but today we're going to go a lot more deeper. That doesn't even make sense. But we're going to go a lot deeper on that subject because a lot has changed here, hyper locally, and then just locally in general, over the last couple weeks, over the last week in general, over the last month. Now, today I'm going to share exactly, and I probably talk too much without getting to the punchline. Today we will talk about why everyone in Boynton Beach, and then specifically within the canyon enclaves, meaning canyon trails, canyon aisles, canyon lakes, canyon springs, why everybody is selling now. And if you want to learn all about that, then please stick to the end, because we are going to do a deep dive and cover all those things. But the truth is, it wasn't that long ago that you've heard me say there's something like less than 2 weeks of inventory in canyon trails. And in some instances within the canyon enclaves, meaning I call the enclave, I refer to the all of the communities as the enclave of canyon communities, but there was really no inventory for a long time, and anything that came on the market sold almost immediately. Multiple contracts, bid the price higher. It was super aggressive. It was super frustrating, and that dynamic is changing. So I want to share about that at great length, and please, if you've got questions about that, then reach out, leave the comments down below, shoot me a text, email, give me a call, whatever you want to do. There is no wrong way to get in touch with me. However, when I'm not paying attention, there is a wrong way for me to be driving. So best to pay attention to the road. All right. I am headed to Starbucks. I desperately need caffeine. I was up all night with a sick child. But back to business, all right? Why is everybody selling right now in canyons? And let's go into that, because there are lots of reasons. Now, I talked about a lot of them in the past, and before I go into great detail as to why everybody's selling, what I want to share is what's changed over the last 7 days, okay? So I'm not talking about months, I'm not talking about quarters, I'm not talking about years. I'm talking about what's happened in the last 7 days as it relates to Boynton Beach real estate in general, and then specifically what's going on in the canyon enclaves, because a lot has changed in 7 days. I noticed it, what's today? Today's Monday. I noticed it on Friday as I was driving home. For the first time in a long time, I saw multiple open house signs and flags and advertisements for different open houses. It's highly unusual. Now, it used to be normal. In a normal market, that was what I would expect. But we haven't seen multiple open houses in canyon trails or in the canyons all at the same time in a very long time. So that is a new thing, and it definitely got my attention. So from there, I did a little bit more research, and full disclosure, I have my my ear to the ground as it relates to what goes on in the canyons, but and I'll share some of those stories that and some of those conversations I've had with sellers, because definitively lots of people are thinking about selling. However, now they're listing, and I did a video about this recently, and I expected it to happen. I just didn't expect to see so many in the last 7 days. So let's talk about not Boynton Beach. Let's talk about Palm Beach County as a whole, okay? So in the last 7 days in Palm Beach County, which comprises a bunch of different cities, right? There were 926 new listings that hit the market, okay? Of that, 86 were canceled, 46 expired, 42 were withdrawn, 87 were pulled off the market temporarily, and 488 of those homes got price reductions. That's new. That's a new phenomenon. That is a new dynamic. That is a return to a more normalized, healthy market. So if you're a buyer and you want to buy, well, that's good news, because the irrational exuberance that I talked about in the past, the intensity of demand that exists or existed, don't get it twisted, there's still demand. It's just not what it once was. It's not what it was last week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 3 months ago.
Hi, thank you for coming to our Starbucks today. What can I get started for you?
Could I please have a venti coffee with 2 shots of espresso and 3 ice cubes?
All right, anything else today?
Nope, that'll do it.
All right, we'll see you at the massage.
All right, I got my do not disturb on. I got my coffee ordered. I'm going to be fully caffeinated, which is what I require, given I was up all night with the sick child. But yeah, so the market's shifting. The dynamics are changing. There's obviously a shift that's happening, and it's starting to happen quickly. Now, let's not go bananas and get crazy about, oh my gosh, the market's crashing. We don't really have any evidence of that. What we do see is, now these are lagging numbers, right? So what I just talked about was a lagging indicator. It was the last 7 days. But if I go further back and I look at April, well, in April, within the canyons in Boynton, and again, I'm talking about the enclave, not specific canyon communities, there were 23 new listings, which was up 9.5%. That's a big uptick in active listings within the canyons. The truth is, although there are more listings, the absorption of those homes by the demand in the market is not the same. So they are sitting longer. They are not selling as fast as they had the sellers had anticipated they would, and worse than that, a lot of them are overpriced. So I know that to be true, and I know that from firsthand experience. So we've had some record sales within Canyon Trails recently. We've had some record sales actually in all the canyons recently. However, those homes are completely maxed out, totally upgraded, totally updated, luxurious, modern, every bell and whistle, anything that you could want to have in that home is in the home. So a prime product in a prime location will demand, will get the attention of the right buyer, and those homes will sell, and they may sell quickly, but they are now the exception. They are not the rule. What we're now seeing is some of the mid-tier products, and the all the canyons are new. The oldest one was built in 2000, well, new/newer. The oldest canyons was built in 2005. So some of the homes in there are older, right? They're outdated, and some of them need work. Well, we're starting to see lots of sellers have lofty expectations about what their home is worth in today's market because they think it's yesterday's market. They're not aware that the market has changed and the dynamics have changed. I am. So I'll give you a couple case studies on that. Recently, I spoke to a potential home seller, and before I do that, full stop, timeout. I'm getting ahead of myself. I think this is because I don't have coffee in me yet. But okay, so prior to me telling that story, 3 or 4 months ago, I represented a buyer relocating from California. They were desperate to be in the canyons. Now, we eventually got them their dream home, and they closed on that recently. But while they were shopping, we were writing up contract after contract, and they found the model that they wanted, that was updated, had a pool, all the things ready to go, and that home was listed $165,000 over the last sale for that same model, right? So, and that happened less than a year ago. So that's a big price jump. Okay, they underpriced that home, which was a smart tactic. I'm friends with the listing agent. I knew exactly what he was doing, and it worked. Of course, the market at that point was different than it is right now. Interest rates were lower, economic conditions were more certain, there was less fear, and he did it the right way. He created a market within a market. He pivoted everyone to open house, and he got exactly what he wanted, which was multiple contracts that bid the price higher. So it came down to me, or my clients, and another buyer. And please hold while I grab some coffee.
Hi.
Hello.
Give me 562.
Thank you very much.
Of course. This is for you.
Thank you so much. Hey, would you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Since it's Memorial Day, pay for their coffee too.
Gotcha. All right, thank you.
Hopefully it's not $200.
Thank you so much. I'm
You're
sure
welcome.
they'll appreciate it.
All right, have a good day.
Memorial Day.
Thank you. All right, so where was I at? Yeah, so we were part of the frenzy. We were part of the insane demand. But it came down to my buyers and another buyer, and we came in significantly over list price, and we came in with a 3-day inspection, which is a very short inspection period. These homes are new. I know damn well that there's nothing wrong with the house. However, I would never advise anybody to buy a home without getting an inspection. But we reduced the timeline to be as favorable as possible, and we went with 3 days. Only to learn that we were outbid by $30,000, and that buyer made their initial deposit non-refundable, and the deposit was 50%. Well, we were not prepared to do that. And I think I mentioned that they waived the inspection completely. So no inspection. They put $400,000 cash down and made it non-refundable. So that is a contract that no seller can refuse, and they didn't. So they set a record on that model, on that property, and win-win, right? Well, win-win for them, win-win for the seller. They priced it right, they had the right product, they did all the things, and they got what they wanted at the height of the market when interest rates were still favorable. But they got, and interest rates weren't even relevant to this transaction because it was a cash buyer. Nonetheless, they got what they wanted. They did it the right way. We lost. Well, again, don't cry over spilled milk. We ended up getting something. We ended up getting them their dream home in Canyon Springs and a much better deal, and they're thrilled. But I share that story because 2 of those same models have hit the market in the last few weeks, and they have not priced the home the right way. They are, rather than underpricing the home, they are overpricing both homes, and they are significantly over the $800,000 highest sales price for that model. So when I saw this, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. This is not healthy. This is unsustainable. I'm really curious to see what happens here, and I watched it like a hawk. Separately, I also called the listing agent at the 925 property and inquired to let them know that those same buyers who were interested in that $800,000 house, they're interested in this one too, but they're having a hard time getting their mind around the $125,000 price increase in 30 days. It didn't really make a lot of sense. So I was just curious, like, where they came up with that. And he had his rationale. And my buyer had already bought a home, so full disclosure, I was just fishing to get information. But nonetheless, he did the things. He pivoted everybody to a short showing window. Well, he did overprice the home, but separate to that, he did all the other things correctly. And at the end of the day, it was the first time I've seen within Canyon Trails it not work. It didn't sell. So 2 weeks go by, and I'm actively monitoring that home because I'm very curious to see if they will get that premium number. And lo and behold, the property is now temporarily off the market, which could mean lots of things. It could be temporarily off the market for the holiday weekend. It could be temporarily off the market because they don't want to cancel or expire it, because they want to insulate the sellers from the thousands of cold calls they'll get from realtors if they were to do that. There's a million different reasons as to what could have potentially happened. But what I think happened was they tried to play the market and they got their teeth kicked in, and now they're reevaluating what they're going to need to do. And that is yet to be determined. So that's one example. But that is a clear indicator to me that things are changing. The dynamics are changing within Canyon Trails. Okay, well, fast forward a couple days. I then consult with another seller who also has the same model. Now, this model doesn't have a pool. It is on a lake. It is upgraded. It's a really nice home. And in speaking with the seller, I got very granular as to my approach to get her what she wants. And that, of course, is pricing the home the right way to create a market within a market so that we actually do get multiple contracts that bid the price higher. Period. And I've done lots of videos sharing exactly what those results look like, so I won't waste time breaking my arm trying to pat myself on the back. But I know for certain that it works. I know when we do all the things that we do, that will 1000% yield the highest and most a buyer is willing to pay in that snapshot of time, in that market period. 1000%. 100% certain. However, they didn't like that strategy. Instead, what they wanted to do was go big and test the market, which I have zero interest in doing, and so I did not take the listing. But nonetheless, here we are a couple weeks later, and that home, which is, in my opinion, overpriced relative to market conditions, is still sitting on the market. Now, that doesn't mean the homes won't sell. They'll sell. There's still plenty of demand in here, and I still have plenty of buyers who are shopping in here. But the intensity of the market has 1000% shifted. There aren't multiple buyers like there. So, and I talked about this in other videos and I'll link them in here if you want to check them out. You can check out my Boca Point video, but that's a perfect case study. We used that strategy, and in the past we would have had hundreds of showings in this market, in this hyper-local area, using the strategy that we did. Rather than having 50 contracts and hundreds of showings, we have a few contracts and under 50 showings, which is still great compared to a relative market, but it is a clear indicator that the market is shifting. And so that gives me pause. It makes me not concerned, but certainly, actually, it makes me thrilled because I now know that buyers, and we've got lots of them, are going to start to be able to get their dream homes that they've been shopping for forever. So let me just bring it down to what's happening right now. So I talked about what's happened in the last 7 days as far as Palm Beach County real estate's concerned, with the 926 new listings. In the last week within the canyons, now again, I told a bunch of stories here, over the last 6 months, there's been no homes for sale. There's been less than 2 weeks of inventory. Anytime a home is listed, it goes under contract within days or even hours. It sells immediately. That has been the market conditions up until just very recently, where this shift is starting to take place. And it's going to get worse, trust me. But nonetheless, in the last week, all of the people who are thinking about selling are starting to list. And I talked about that last week in my last video, and it's coming true. So last week, within the last 7 days, within the Canyon Enclave, which is Canyon Springs, Canyon Lakes, Canyon Trails, Canyon Isles, there are 12 new listings. That's new. That means inventory is coming to the market, which means if you're a seller thinking about selling, you're not one of those 12. Well, I got news for you. When you want to sell, when you choose to sell, if selling is the right thing for you to do, there's going to be way more competition, which means it's going to be a lot more challenging for you to get the leverage and the numbers that you want, because buyers have choices. And that's great for buyers. It's not that it's not great for sellers. There's still tons of equity and all good things, but they're not getting their dream number. They're not cashing out, hitting the lottery like they thought they were. And that's just the fact. So 12 new listings. So that was in the last 7 days. In those 7 days, of the 12, 2 were taken off temporarily. That's interesting. I wonder why. Again, it could be anything, or it could be that they just got their teeth kicked in, didn't get what they wanted in the last 7 days, and are frustrated. There will be a lot of frustration for home sellers in Florida if they think that the market is what it used to be, because it's not. From there, of those 12, there were 2 taken off temporarily, but also 2 major price reductions. So what does that tell me? It tells me the market is changing. It tells me exactly why everyone is selling their home right now in the canyons and in Boynton Beach and in South Florida, because they want to capitalize on the market conditions that are as optimal as they're ever going to be right now, and they want to maximize their opportunity. So I don't share any of that to scare you. I share that because I am committed to, number one, always giving you the most immersive experience as we tour whatever communities that we are. And please don't sleep on the playlist. So if you're interested in any particular area, then click the link, which I will have up here, which will showcase the Boynton playlist. But I've got playlists for almost every city in South Florida. However, where was I going with that? Completely lost my train of thought. Talking about the playlist. But the sellers who are out there that are thinking about selling are now getting out of thinking and into listing, because they want to capitalize now while market conditions are most optimal, and things are changing fast. If you think there's a lot of inventory in the last 7 days, wait 7 more. If you think that's something, wait 70. And if you think that's more, wait 7 months, because I can promise you we are returning to a normal market, which does not mean crash. It just means normal market. So think in terms of 4 to 7% home value appreciation year over year. Think more like 3 to 6 months of inventory when you sell your home. So you aren't going to be getting, you're not going to have the leverage that you have today if you wait. And that's not a scare tactic, it's the truth. And oh, that's where I was going. And I am committed to telling you the truth. I've always said, if I see things changing, see things pivoting, see anything that points to something new, I'll be the first one to share it with you, and that's what I'm doing right now. So I hope you enjoyed this content, and if you did, then please check out this video, which will be either over here or over here, which will talk more about market dynamics that are happening right now. And again, if there's anything ever I can do to help you, your family, your business in any way, shape, or form, you've got to give me a call, text, email, send a carrier pigeon, a smoke signal, if you're even thinking about moving to or living in South Florida. And until next time, peace.